Hello and welcome back to An Old Man Watches, where today I'm going to be talking about the fantasy musical Wicked for Good, adapted from the second act of the stage show Wicked, and a sequel to 2024's Wicked Part 1. There will inevitably be spoilers for the first film in the plot outline of this one, so be aware of that before continuing this video. I'm going to give you a moment here to stop watching if you need to. Okay, still with me? Well, this film begins 1 year after the finale of the first movie. Elphaba, now branded the Wicked Witch of the West by the Wizard's propaganda, is still waging her battle for the rights of talking animals. Glinda, meanwhile, works as a spokesperson for the Wizard, along with the malevolent Madame Morrible. It's a role that leaves Glinda conflicted. On the one hand, she enjoys the adulation of the crowds and the time it allows her to spend with Prince Fiero. On the other hand, she wants nothing more than to mend the rift between Elphaba and the Wizard, and many of the things she is made to say seem to make that less and less likely to happen. Now, although Elphaba is a powerful witch, she is only one person. The Wizard has the entire resources of Oz at his disposal, and no matter how much Elphaba tries to help people, and talking animals, things just seem to getting worse. Many talking animals are fleeing Oz, Elphaba's relationships with Glinda, Fiero, and her sister all seem to be ruptured. But perhaps there is a glimmer of hope somewhere in the darkness. Perhaps the great arch-villain of Oz is not quite as alone as it seems. Perhaps there is a way for her to make things change for good. Now, both of the Wicked films were produced together at the same time, much like the Lord of the Rings trilogy was 20 years earlier. And the first film came out in 2028, was a big hit, both critically and commercially. A success that was, in my opinion, fully justified. Wicked Part 1 was a gorgeously made movie anchored by bravura performances from both Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. And most importantly, it nailed the one thing that an adaptation of the stage musical show 100% must get right, which is that it delivered a banging version of Defying Gravity. Wicked for Good, meanwhile, has done quite well financially, though critical reception was not as effusive as it was for Part 1. While still generally positive, the critical consensus seems to be that this is the weaker of the two films, much as Act 2 of the stage show is generally seen as being weaker than Act 1. And this is one occasion where I'm not going to buck the overall trend. I think Wicked for Good is a well-made film with a great cast, but it's not as strong a movie as Part 1 was. Now, one of my concerns with Wicked Part 1 was pacing. The production team were turning a 2.5-hour stage show into 5 hours of movie. And the stated intent of that much longer structure was threefold: to avoid damaging the structure of the story, to allow them to add more depth, and to give them space to add a few surprises, which it turned out included 2 new songs being added for this movie. Unstated, but presumably also a factor, was the chance to sell tickets to 2 movies instead of just 1. Now, while the stated reasons for the 2-movie structure are sound, the risk of that structure is that movies could end up feeling stretched out because they were taking twice as long to tell the same story. Or it could feel bloated because it was packed with extra stuff. Now, Part 1 ably avoided both of those potential drawbacks. It rattled along at a solid pace throughout, never feeling too slow or too overstuffed to me. Wicked for Good, however, managed to exhibit both of these drawbacks. There were several moments where the pacing felt a little too relaxed, and at other points the film did feel overstuffed to me, trying to keep too many balls in the air at the same time. Now, neither of these issues are particularly serious, I want to get that. They're minor stumbles rather than outright face plants. But stumbles, they certainly are. Now, another strength of Part 1 was that it excelled at making the various sets and locations feel part of a connected world, feel like more than just a bunch of sets. The various sets used for Shiz University, where Elphaba and Glinda first meet, genuinely felt like they were all parts of the same real place, with seamless transitions from indoor to outdoor locations. The Emerald City and the Wizard's Tower within it also felt like a connected whole. To me, this movie lacked that feeling, certainly to the same extent. While it has many cool-looking locations that are great as individual vistas, some of them felt quite isolated to me. For instance, towards the end of the movie, Elphaba relocates her resistance organisation to a castle somewhere in the mountains. She has to, because that's where Dorothy finds her, right? But while the scenes set at the castle all looked great, I had no sense that the castle was a real building in a real world. The sets were all just cool backdrops for big musical numbers and climactic narrative moments. Now, again, this is by no means a catastrophic issue. The movie's still pretty good overall, but it was something I noticed as I was watching. And so, much as the second act of the Wicked stage show is reportedly not as strong as the first act, I have not actually seen the stage show, so Wicked for Good is a lesser film than Part 1. But as with part one, Wicked for Good does nail its finale. There's a strong song, expertly performed. I mean, it's not defying gravity, but it's probably the second best number in the show. And the film wraps up its major plot lines in a satisfying manner. Now, crafting a properly successful ending is one of the hardest parts of making creative media of any kind, and the team here have done a good job of it. I walked out of the film feeling pleased with the experience of the movie as a whole. That feeling was, of course, helped a lot by the cast performances, which are excellent. The two leads belt out every song, even the lesser ones, with skill and vigour, and both are very charismatic in their roles. But I also want to single out Michelle Yeoh as a particular delight in her depiction of the horrible Madame Morrible. Top marks for what she does here. Next time, the misleadingly named kaiju film Monster from a Prehistoric Planet, or as it was originally known on its 1967 release, Gappa, the Triphibian Monster. But that is next time. Until then, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you've seen Wicked for Good, let me know what you thought of it.